Welcome in, everyone. As we're getting settled in here, this will be a little bit different tonight, as there will be heat races to set the main field here at Kil-Kare Speedway. Very short track, very action-packed. So we're going to see a lot of bumping and banging tonight, and it's going to be broke down between 4 short races here tonight. We'll see this heat here with 15 trucks, 10 of which will transfer to the main event. Heat number 2, same scenario, 15 trucks, 10 will transfer. And then we'll have a last chance qualifier with the remaining 10 trucks that failed to qualify, 2 of which will transfer onto the main for a main field of 32 trucks here at Kil-Kare for the 200 lap event. But to no further ado, we'll get set with heat number 1 here, as we've got Andre Stefan along with brand new to the series Wyatt Wilkinson on the front row here in the number 39 Chevy. Then behind that you've got Eli the Wolf and James Reddick, John Brinker and Nate Newman, Jamie Horseman and Ryan Little, Ralph Oberstadt and Finley Herwig, Mark Shelton and Chris Mozzie, with AJ Kosnoff and James Robert rounding out the back of the field here in heat number 1.
Favor, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Start your engines!
And so 50 laps here is going to clip by in a blur. It's going to be really quick, really fast. And you want to be in the top 10 by the end of this first heat.
Nice long day. We're right here to support you.
You almost got to guarantee that track position is huge here. Starting towards the front will be key to staying in that top 10. Andre Stefan, no stranger to running up front. It's actually kind of a surprise that he's here in this heat, that he had to get through, as he was not locked in through points to make it to the main event. Our top 10 in points are secured in the main event. They don't have to do any racing to get into it. They're already there. So 4th and 5th looks like Brinker and Reddick, Horseman, and then it's 3 wide for a near transfer spot, as and they're wrecking right there. Ralph Oberstadt got 3 wide there and paid the price. We can do some quick recap on that wreck there. So yeah, it's kind of like your local short track racing. It's really exciting here tonight, as there's going to be a lot of close quarters combat on the short track at Kil-Kare Speedway. I feel for him there. I don't think Ralph Oberstadt had anything to do with that. He was just unfortunately middle or bottom of the three wide ordeal there. If you look and see, they're side by side and catching up to that 72. 72 loses a little bit of ground there, and yeah, I think Ralph could have stayed a little bit lower there, knowing that the outside was tied up 3 wide. So Oberstadt's going to go to the back here and potentially put himself in a scenario that he's going to have to race through the LCQ here tonight. Nate Newman falls back. It's going to be short tracks. We're going to keep it single file, as the Better Cautions mod on short tracks often crashes the game. It's kind of a bummer, but everyone's got the same advantage or disadvantage, if you want to look at it that way. just a standard slinky effect there with the field getting bunched up. So before we get set for the restart here, go ahead and go through the field as Andre Stefan leads the way over Eli the Wolf, Wyatt Wilkinson in third, James Reddick in fourth, John Brinker in fifth, Jimmy Horseman, Ryan Little, Mark Shelton, Finley Herwig, and AJ Kosnoff rounding out your top 10. Those right now racing to get their way in is James Fireball Robert, Chris Mozzie, Nate Newman, and Ralph Oberstadt. Pace truck pulls off, and we're going to get going back here again on lap 10. 40 laps remain in heat number 1. That transfer spot, a very volatile position here, as all 5 of these trucks could still race their way in. Right now, Fireball Robert is in, Kosnoff out. Mark Shelton goes way high there. Shelton seems to be struggling with that truck here today. We saw him in a 3-wide fiasco earlier, just a couple laps ago. Settles in there right in front of Robert. Andre Stefan making it look easy. He's going to have to be careful, though. He don't want to get too big of a lead, or else he's going to have to deal with lap traffic. Nate Newman desperately trying to find an opening here to get by Chris Mozzie. He knows that this will be his only opportunity to try and fight for a transfer spot here. He's going to have to get by that 54 truck relatively quickly. 54 holding that preferred line. It's just a little harder to make a pass on these short tracks. Nate Newman gets shuffled all the way to the back there. Huge kudos to Wyatt Wilkinson in just his first ever start here in the USA Trucks. Coming onto the scene for Calvin Steele Racing. It was an open seat that needed filled for the time being. There's no telling where he could land within the next couple weeks. He's going to be joining the circuit tomorrow for the ARCA series as well. So good start here in the trucks, running 4th in his first ever heat race. He's teammates there with Eli the Wolf running 2nd. Andre Stefan for Jacob Schengle Racing still leading the way here in that Ally Bank Ford F-150. AJ Kosnoff slots his way back into 14th. Nate Newman 13th. Ralph Oberstadt 12th. And Chris Mozzie in 11th. James Fireball Robert holding on to that last transfer spot, but I wouldn't count Mozzie out here, as we still have 28 laps to go. That gap continuing to shrink slightly here. We could have a pretty big battle for that last transfer spot. They've really lost ground to Mark Shelton and Jamie Horseman up front there. But this battle very much alive right here. Nate Newman knows that it's do or die. Obviously not completely do or die, since he could still make it out through the LCQ here. Really, at the end of the night, only 7 trucks are going home. We do have 39 contestants here in the USA Trucks, and it's going to be a 32 truck finale main event. So with that, obviously 7 drivers go home, which isn't a terrible you know, terrible deal. I can remember when the series started, when it was only 20 trucks, that we could have hosted a main event with the roster alone. It's nice to see the growth in the series that we would actually have to do heats like this to set the field for a main event. So now getting in on 20 laps to go here. James Roberts still holding that number 10 position. As you can see, Andre Stefan is caught lap traffic. This is going to be interesting to watch all night here because it's going to be a very small track and very quick for these leaders to catch up to lap traffic. That wreck really did put Ralph Oberstadt behind the 8 ball here, and he's really only got 2 spots to play with here for 1 transfer position at the front. He's going to have to get by both the 72 and the 79. Nate Newman in that Volkswagen. He's caught right up to Fireball there. And there we have it. Transfer position changes hands. And the 3 even tried to take the 79 out there. That was, yeah, we got to just do a quick recheck on that one. I thought he was going to try to turn the 79. Nate Newman moves up into a transfer spot. And Ralph gives him a little bit of the bump there. Doesn't quite get a bump and run executed. But he finally gets by, so now Ralph Oberstadt still has to get by 1 driver here. The guy that he ended up getting in a wreck with back on lap 8. It doesn't make matters any easier here, as the leader of the race, Andre Stefan, right there behind him, hounding him. If Andre puts him a lap down, that'll really shake things up, because that'll be 1 less lap that Oberstadt gets to run around the track. So he's going to have to hope that if... Oh, and now we got another caution here. Everything you had playing out still very, very much up in the air here. Figure out what that caution was for. Oh, the 79 of James Robert. Ooh, ooh. Well, he found the one gaping opening on the outside of the track. Goes a little high there, and then bam! That's not something you want to see. 82 of Kosnoff clips him there, as well as he ends up laying on top of the apron there. So going from fighting for a transfer position to now knocked out completely, James Robert might have to pull out a backup truck tonight to make it through the LCQ. So if you're just now tuning in, we've had 2 cautions so far. The first one involving our bubble transfer spot between the 72 and the 3 of Ralph Oberstadt. Somehow Ralph Oberstadt goes a lap down here. Oh, he made a pit stop. So from 11th, he decides, oh wait, did he have a mechanical failure? The 3 just up and had a failure of some sort there and had to get towed to pit road. They make repairs and he goes 1 lap down. Green flag waving. He's going to have to hope for someone to fall out of this race to actually make it in. As it stands right now, the 72 of Nate Newman holds that final transfer spot. But he's got a very, probably angry and furious Ralph Oberstadt there that wants to get his lap back. Now this race could end under caution if we don't have better cautions enabled, obviously for the glitchy reasons that that acts out on short tracks like this. So if we get a caution right now, it's gonna be the end of heat number 1. Top 3 is Andre Stefan. Chris Mozzie is a lap down actually, and Eli the Wolf. Wyatt Wilkinson in his debut, and there's a 3 wide. Ooh, the 82. Kosnoff just survives there between the 62 and the 78, getting 3 wide below him. John Brinker runs 4th. James Reddick in 5th. Finley Herwig, Ryan Little, white flag waving. It's looking like Nate Newman's going to be your last transfer. Andre Stefan wins heat number 1. As he's going to collect the checkered in this heat right there. Eli the Wolf 2nd. Wyatt Wilkinson 3rd in his debut through the heat race here. James Reddick is in. Ryan Little's in. Finley Herwig. Mark Shelton. Jamie Horseman. John Brinker and Nate Newman all transfer. So we'll pause here as I get results tallied up, and we'll get the roster at least jotted down on paper for who's in the main event. You've got the 56 of Andre Stefan, the 29 of Eli the Wolf, 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson, 78 of John Brinker, 62 of James Reddick, 68 of Finley Herwig, 44 of Ryan Little, 11 of Mark Shelton, the 28 of Jamie Horseman, and the 72 of Nate Newman. Having to come through the LCQ tonight includes the 54 of Chris Mozzie, the 82 of AJ Kosnoff, the number 3 of Ralph Oberstadt, which I believe he's going to be strong contender. He might get front row in that LCQ. And the 79 of Fireball Robert, also going to the LCQ. So we're on East Race 4 of 15. Heat number 1. It's interesting that they're still out there turning laps even though the race is done. Race 4 of 15, Heat 1. I guess Kosnoff's just out there making practice laps for the LCQ tonight. He finally decides to come down pit road here. Doesn't hurt. Get some extra laps on the track so you're ready for the LCQ in about 20 minutes. Congrats to none other than Andre Stefan, making it through heat number 1 without a scratch. And now we're going to go on to heat number 2 here. Right on into the next one. These smaller fields really, it does feel like a local home track. All your grassroots racing that's starting up right now, we're kind of emulating that here tonight in the USA Truck Series. And so heat number 2 is going to include Alan Malcolm, Guido Piano, Skylar Taylor, and Gannon Bird. David Bird and Al Bunch, amazingly enough, is here. Missed out by 1 spot as he sits, I believe, 11th in the points. Andrew Moger, Jakov Rosovich, one of his local track. Scott Speed and Taden Berggren, Cannon Gage, GP Luxembourg, Johnny Blaney, Chris Hergeson, and Osiel Escobar right at the back there. So now we do have 15 trucks in the second heat. That means 5 trucks will fall down to the LCQ. So right now, Cannon Gage fighting for that final transfer spot, knocks Taden Berggren out. Cannon Gage in the transfer spot as Johnny Blaney going to try to hunt him down here. This seems to be the action spot for that transfer position. As you see, they are racing just a little bit harder here for positions. Now you got Jakov Rosovich falling a little bit behind here. Osiel Escobar making a bold move up to the position right there behind Johnny Blaney. Now Rosovich struggling here, could get knocked out. Great racing going on right now. All in the meantime, it's Alan Malcolm out front with Guido Piano, Skylar Taylor, Gannon Bird, David Bird, Andrew Moger, Scott Speed, Al Bunch, Cannon Gage, and Jakov Rosovich is about to lose the transfer spot here. Johnny Blaney, very new to the series, hasn't been able to get his wheels under him quite yet, so this is great training experience for him here, getting to race in a heat race to try and make the main event. It's actually going to be extra huge to do so. If you come into a main event tonight, you're going to be guaranteed 8 spots better than last amongst all your peers. It's going to be interesting going from super short track racing like this tonight to Talladega tomorrow with the ARCA series. Our ARCA series is going to premiere a lot of tracks like this. ARCA is even going to Kil-Kare, and so far the racing product very much I approve of. This has been some great short track racing. A lot of strategy, a lot of, there is a little bit of passing going on. We've already made it deeper in this heat than we did in the last one. Heat 1, we saw a wreck on lap 8. We're already circuit number 12. So the bottom of our transfer spots really gonna have to start kicking it in gear here, or else they might go a lap down. As you see Alan Malcolm just kind of loitering in the background there. Johnny Blaney losing a little bit of traction to the transfer spot. But still has very good chance here to close that gap. As you see, the gap not growing, definitely staying close to catching up to the zero truck in front of him. But these laps continue to click away pretty quickly here, as it's going to be a race against time instead of a race for position. It's definitely going to set us up for a fascinating LCQ with those that might fail to make it. Johnny Blaney, Osiel Escobar, GP Luxembourg, Taden Berggren, Chris Hergeson. Those 5 right now would be looking at a trip to the LCQ. Yeah, but Johnny Blaney's like, hold on 1 minute. Don't count your chickens before the eggs have hatched. Still trying to close that gap to Rosevich in front of him. That'd be so cool. I was looking at the track sign, and it'd be so cool if this game, you know, 20-year-old game actually had virtual track board changes. So like it says first right there, the 75, second 73, which is just a static image. It'd be so cool if that actually changed with each person that changed positions on track. Almost wonder if it's possible, if there's a way someone could mod something in there into the game, but I don't think it exists, or if it does, it's probably harder to do than one would imagine. Johnny Blaney losing that traction again here, unfortunately, as it's about down to 22 laps left in heat number 2. Heat number 1, we saw a pair of cautions. So far, we've seen 0 in heat number 2. Man, this is a record pace here. We're about to get through heat number 2 in under 12 minutes, it looks like. Alan Malcolm putting Osiel Escobar a lap down here. Escobar is going to have to hope for someone to have a mechanical failure or someone to fall out to gain some positions here. Johnny Blaney still looking to make up that ground to get to the transfer spot. Fastest lap clearly belongs to Alan Malcolm so far. And Johnny Blaney with a 14.6. Alan Malcolm with a 14.3. It's just a matter of time before he goes a lap down here as well. Johnny Blaney better be careful that he doesn't get... Oh, and he kind of kept the 9 from making a move there. Blaney not wanting to give any ground. Malcolm trying to bulldog his way through there. 9 and the 91 go wide there through turn 1. 91 has to settle. No, he's going to continue to fight tooth and nail for the lead lap here. That's going to be hard to swallow, especially if the transfer spot stays on the lead lap. Johnny Blaney is going to have one less lap of competition than his transferee. But if the 9 of Alan Malcolm is able to put Rosevich a lap down, the race will stay on until lap 50. Because the way they work it, well, till lap 49 clearly, they'll be on the same disadvantage of being one lap down. Man, but time is running out here as we're on lap 41 of 50. And Alan Malcolm has been blowing through the field at a record pace here. It's going to be interesting to see once we got the fastest of the fastest paired up for the main event tonight, who's going to have what it takes to get the job done on the short track of Kil-Kare Speedway. Forget everything we've gone through in the first 3 races of the season. We haven't had a short track race quite like this year. And obviously we've seen some trends, especially with Jordan Walker and the likes of the competitors here on the East Coast. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's kind of a wild card as to what's going to happen here in the main event. Wow, we're going to go caution-free through heat number 2. We couldn't make it 8 laps to start the race in heat number 1. These guys much more reserved and well-behaved as your top 10 transfer spots remain on the lead lap for now. Rosevich just holding on by a thread over the 9 of Malcolm. Malcolm is looking. Rosevich hopes didn't get a bump and run here. There's really no reason to push the envelope for Malcolm. He didn't need that position for any reason. Rosevich definitely does not need a bump to lose some traction here, else could give Johnny Blaney a valid shot at fighting for that 10th position. White flag waving. This will be the final lap. Alan Malcolm is on an easy street cruise here. Rosevich is going to hang on. There you have it. The 5 that failed to make the main event going to the LCQ will be the 91 of Johnny Blaney, the 65 of Osiel Escobar, the 84 of GP Luxembourg, 43 of Taden Berggren, and the 04 of Chris Hergeson. Those moving on to the main event is the 0 of Jakov Rosevich, the 5 of Cannon Gage, the 87 of Al Bunch, 41 of Scott Speed, 96 of David Bird, the 74 of Moger, the 45 of Taylor, the 59 of Gannonbird, and the 19 of Guido Piano, along with the 9 of Alan Malcolm. Seems like just like in that last heat, we had one more guy stay out there and just test the track a little bit, getting ready for that LCQ. So it's going to be a brief pause here. I'll walk everyone through with it. I'm just going to leave the game screen active. So I'm going to end up building the LCQ roster as we have now gotten through the first 2 heats. And I don't know why it put everyone a lap down there at the end. That didn't make much sense, but it didn't change the results at all. So in our LCQ, it is the 79 of James Robert. The 54 of Mozzie. The 82 of AJ Kosnoff. The 3 of Ralph Oberstadt, whom I am already picking as my favorite to win this LCQ. Tough break for Oberstadt in that first heat. Johnny Blaney looked stout, looked fast, and he could have possibly made it in through heat number 2, but failed to do so. Osiel Escobar is going to be fighting an uphill battle here. 84, that's GP Luxembourg. .43 of Taden Berggren. And the 04 of Chris Hergeson will be your last one in the LCQ here. So 9 trucks, 50 laps, and only 2 make it on to the main event. So everyone gets a little bit of extra racing action here. They're quick, bite-sized race pieces, but gives us a little bit more excitement here tonight as people really are racing for their livelihood here tonight. Ralph Oberstadt and GP Luxembourg on the front row, followed by Taden Berggren and Johnny Blaney, 3rd and 4th. And the rest of them are just going to be hoping here to get by them and hopefully have a chance to fight for that transfer spot. Is there anyone that's going to do anyone dirty here is the other concern. Is someone going to just forget about manners and fight hard? Taden Berggren not giving that 84 much room there. Doesn't need to give him much room. I mean, you're racing for the main event here tonight. You might as well use up your opponents and try to fight as hard as you can. Taden, not one to want to miss races. Obviously, he's had kind of a rough go of it in the trucks. He's had some early success at the start of his career and has since struggled to find that lightning in the bottle. There we go. Tayden fighting hard for that transfer spot, as he should. Johnny Blaney just about in the same scenario as he was during his heat. Still just on the outside looking in. Ralph Oberstadt kind of just driving away with it here. GP Luxembourg and Tayden Berggren. We haven't seen much for mechanical failures in these quick sprint races. I'm wondering if that could become a factor in the main event during the 200 lap main feature. 200 laps, I do not imagine we're going to see pit stops unless we get a caution and someone is raring and ready to go down pit road for fresh tires. But other than that, this race could pretty much run flag to flag, even if we have no cautions amongst the 32 trucks contesting the main event here. There's got to be at least a caution, I'm imagining, with a field as large as 32 on this short track. There's going to be a little bit of carnage. There's going to be some bumping and banging like we saw in heat number 1. Well, our leader starting to lose some ground here as Ralph Oberstadt has allowed the 84 to close that gap and get within range of taking the lead. Oberstadt, of course, has a few spots to wiggle with here, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if GP Luxembourg got by. But it could be a little bit uncomfortable to get past when you're fighting for a transfer spot, and only those 2 transfer spots count. So GP putting in some good laps here. It seems like he's got the faster truck right now, as Ralph seems to have used up his tires. Oberstadt under attack. Luxembourg, wow, there was barely a thin piece of paper could have slid between their bumpers. And look at now, Tayden Berggren joins the party. The lead slowing up. Oh, no. Okay. There we go. A change of position as Tayden Berggren gets inside and is going to pick off both. Going to take care of 2 birds with 1 stone, perhaps, as Ralph Oberstadt really struggling here now. Ralph settles in, takes the lead back, but GP Luxembourg, even though it was running faster, kind of got snookered there, getting stuck behind the 3 truck, and it slowed him way up, allowing for that 43 of Berggren to blow by. GP Luxembourg fighting back here. The fact that this LCQ is the same distance as both of the heats really does allow these guys to race for it that much extra. And what's even crazier here is that we've got 3 Chevys fighting for a transfer spot in the LCQ. Go figure, as Chevy has only secured 1 win in competition here in the USA Trucks. That you're seeing 3 of them duke it out for the last 2 spots in the main field it's almost too real. But they're the only 3, so Chevy has their stuff together. It's just a shame that not all 3 of them are going to be able to make it. Only 2 of these 3 can transfer to the main event. I almost wonder if Oberstadt purposely led up there to try and shake the field up, because now it looks like he's got his mojo back and kind of cruising away from his competitors. It definitely made for an interesting moment there as positions changed. It gave Taden Bergeron a transfer spot. They settled back in, and Luxembourg cruised back around the 43. But we know now that Taden Bergeron's got a truck fast enough to secure the position. He's just going to have to wait for the opportunity to pounce again. Down to 18 laps here in the LCQ, and then we will know our main event roster for tonight's 200 laps around Kil-Kare Speedway. And as for this track, we've never hosted an event here before, but so far it's passing with flying colors. Truly a track that I'm going to look forward to on the schedule for many years to come. We do get to see the ARCA Series contest this track a little bit later on in the schedule. And same scenario, we'll host heats and you know, do shorter races like this to give us some more racing action, make it more of a short track, grassroots short track style heat night, you know, a couple heats, LCQ, and a main event. Well, at this point, short of something extravagant happening, it's not looking like anyone's got anything for Ralph Oberstadt. And GP Luxembourg continuing to hold that second transfer spot. As we're now down to 11 laps here. Taden Bergeron's going to have at least one more opportunity here to try and pull off an RKO, getting that 84 out of the transfer spot. And thanks for those of you that tuned in. I'm going to try to keep spoilers to a minimum tonight, as we had a newcomer on our server mention that they couldn't watch the race. So I'm hoping maybe going forward trying to minimalize on spoilers to give people a chance to see it for themselves. But I'm not one for waiting. When something exciting happens, I'll usually post the results pretty quickly. So at least for tonight, I'll hold off on posting results and standings for a day or two. We'll roll into the ARCA race tomorrow night, obviously, and then Bridge to Cup Thursday and Cup Series Friday. So full schedule slated for us here between our Sigma series of offline racing. Just a handful of laps left here. Ralph Oberstadt starting to cruise through lap traffic now. 82 of AJ Kosnoff looks to be on his way out for tonight. Not going to make it through the LCQ. Nor is James Robert, Chris Mozzie, Chris Hergeson. Asiel Escobar is going to come up short here. Johnny Blaney gave it a gallant effort, but not going to be fast enough to make the main event. So really it's down to Taden Berggren here with just 2 laps to go now. You never know, we could have someone blow up with mechanical failure. Not looking likely as the white flag waves. And our transfers out of this LCQ to the main event is going to be Ralph Oberstadt and GP Luxembourg. So redemption for Ralph Oberstadt and kind of a morale boost for the 84 of GP Luxembourg, to the utter defeat and dismay of Taden Berggren, Asiel Escobar, James Robert, Chris Mozzie, AJ Kosnoff, all of which are not going to be contesting the main event here tonight. And we thought that 50 laps buzzed by pretty quickly for the heats. Just wait till the main event. It's going to blow by even quicker, I feel. Okay, so yet again, we'll be in a brief holding pattern here as I get the roster set up for the main event. Now that we know exactly who is all in for the main event of 200 laps here tonight. The Guardians 200 at Kil-Kare Speedway. And we've already got our 10 locked in. The main event for Kil-Kare. Adding to that will be the 56 of Andre Stefan. The 29 of Eli the Wolf. 39 of our newcomer to the series. So new that he's at the bottom of the list, Wyatt Wilkinson. 78 of Al Bunch. Or no, John Brinker, my bad. So John Brinker. 62, James Reddick. The 68, Finley Herwig. 44 of Ryan Little. The 11 of Mark Shelton. 28 of Jamie Horseman. The 72 of Nate Newman. Gallant effort in his heat to make it through, right with the last transfer spot. 0 of Jakov Rosevich. The 5 Cannon Gage. 87, that one there is Al Bunch, because my dyslexia thought that was a 78. 41 of Scott Speed. 96 of David Bird. 74 of Andrew Moger in his Volkswagen. 45, Skylar Taylor. She makes it into the main event. 59 of Gannonbird. And we're almost to the end here. 19 of Guido Piano. The 9 of Alan Malcolm. Dominated his. 3 of Ralph Oberstadt. And the 84 of GP Luxembourg. Main event racing time. And like I said, this feels like could be one of the bigger wild card events here on the east side, as 200 laps with 32 trucks. There is no telling how this can pan out.
Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
And looks like Chaz Chadwick jumps to the pole there in the last moments of qualifying. The 18 of Chadwick will be bumped back as Jordan Walker, Alan Malcolm turn a quicker lap in the closing laps of qualifying.
Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
So it is
Start your engines.
double down for Trevor Ventures on the front row here, as Jordan Walker and Alan Malcolm secure the top 2 positions. Then you've got Guido Piano and Chaz Chadwick, 2nd and 3rd. James Gunner and Skylar Taylor. Gannon Bird and Ant Meeperson with Jeffrey Gerald and Andre Stefan rounding out your top 10. Jordan Walker, no stranger to leading at short tracks. We know of one short track where he led every single lap once. That was a dirt short track, so some of the other drivers out there might be getting a little bit of PTSD seeing that tin truck leading at the front on a short track. The back half of the field, this looks dangerous, as you've got 3 wide for position there. Oh, the 92 gets turned. Yeah, so we kind of zoomed back to the back here in a perfect... Ooh, okay. They're still trying to wreck over here. So unfortunately for Kyle Ottawa, that is not how he wanted to start his night here. Getting sideswiped by Finley Herwig. Wow, the 28 of Jamie Horseman almost clipped that outside wall. And so first caution of the night did not take long at all. Oh, there's a bit of a bunch up there. It looks like everyone managed to stay pretty clean of running into anyone in front of them. Wyatt Wilkinson in his first ever main event. Oh, and he's got something going on as the 676 of Hamburgerson rams into him. Imagine it had something to do with a truck going down pit road that the AI just panicked there a little bit. 39 still just kind of having some troubles there. Don't know what that was all about. 76 gonna have to come down pit road and get some repairs fixed. Damage repaired. Oh no. Hamburgerson out for the night now already. That's a bummer for him. So we're seeing some weird things going on right now, and I don't know if they're mechanical failures or what exactly is going on. 72 of Nate Newman now a lap down as he's struggling to get sorted. This race needs to go back green quickly. Didn't see any of these problems in our short heat races. I don't know why they're turning up now. Nate Newman's going to go a couple laps down. Our leaders still running the same order that they qualified in. 1, 2, 3. James Gunner up to 4th. Cannonbird up to 5th. Green flag waves. We are back in racing here at Kil-Kare. James Gunner trying to go low there on Chadwick. Great battle here for 3rd already on the restart. 3 wide for position behind him as Guido Piano is the meat in the center of the sandwich. They settle down, and now Chadwick having some struggles here. These guys, it's a tough start to this race for some of these guys. Home track for Jack Ross there in the 00. DRSM Baja. Oh no. There was lap traffic coming back on track and collected the 18 and the 19. Ryan Little unfortunately just made a bad mistake there, collecting Chaz Chadwick and Guido Piano. And we're not done wrecking, it doesn't look like. It's gonna be a wreck fest here tonight. Andre Stefan struggling, can barely see out of his windshield with the crumpled up nose. He's got it glued to the wall right now. There must be something severely wrong with that 56 truck. There's going to be something severely wrong when he hits that wall. What happened to Wyatt Wilkinson? They get bunched up here. Doesn't look like he's got damage yet. Oh, the 92 stalled there and collected the 39 of Wilkinson. Wilkinson also retires. Okay, so this has been a strange one to start out. All of our drivers that get caught up in a wreck have been retiring right away. As now you've got the 56 of Andre Stefan out, the 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson out, 76 of Hamburgerson, and the 11 of Mark Shelton, all out of the race here on lap 16. Lights should go off on the pace truck this time. So we'll get another restart, but this is already turning into an ugly race for these guys. Nate Newman's going to have a chance here to get one of his laps back. That might be an easy task to fulfill here, as we have not been able to go green for longer than 6 laps on track here. James Gunner up to 3rd. That's impressive for him. Nate Newman has one of his laps back for now. And he might take matters into his own hand and try to give Jordan Walker some punishment here. Jordan Walker still leading. Man, almost gets clipped there by the 72. Nate Newman has to settle in behind the leader there and now figure it out from here. Looks like we might actually get settled down here for a little while. Hopefully I didn't just jinx it, but as long as they don't get 3 wide, we should be good. It's when they get 3 wide on track here when all things go out the window. Just like that, the 3 trying to peek on the inside of Al Bunch, pushing the envelope on going 3 wide. Ralph Oberstadt had to come through the LCQ, so this is an impressive run for that number 3 team. They've had the most laps, so it should go to show that with more laps that they've got some more data on this track. And looking like might be a career best for Ralph Oberstadt. He's not had very many top 15, top 10 finishes, if any. Chaz Chadwick settled into 6th here. Jack Ross, the hometown hero, as some might say, has had quite the dry streak here in USA Trucks competition. It's been over a year since he last won. Actually, maybe getting close to about 2 years. I haven't done the complete tally on that, but it's been quite a while since the 00 has been to victory lane. And how crazy would that be if he could get it done at his home track here at Kil-Kare Speedway? Jack Ross has been a menace to most. You know, kind of liken him almost to Ross Chastain. His career kind of has followed a similar trajectory. As the way I look at it, Ross Chastain was much better when he was an aggressive driver. And that's, you know, now since he's kind of tried to mellow down and find his own, he's not winning near as well as he was when he was the aggressive driver that everyone disliked. Jack Ross kind of fills those same shoes because he was so aggressive to the point that he was infuriating to the rest of the drivers out on track. And Jack Ross, just like Ross Chastain, decided it's like, hey, I need to mellow out. I need to, you know, start making friends rather than enemies. And ever since that, you know, transition, the victories haven't come nearly as quickly from the Jack Ross of yesteryear. James Gunner settles into 4th here. Nice run for Gannon Bird sitting in 3rd. But commits that previously mentioned PTSD for the rest of the field as Jordan Walker has continued to hold that lead so far. Lap traffic, though, huge factor right here. And Jordan Walker better be careful minding his manners not to get tangled up in the undoing of lap traffic in front of him. They're 3 wide for position. This is going to cause Jordan Walker to slow up a bit here Alan Malcolm, his teammate, takes the lead away. So first change of possession for the lead. Give it up to Jordan Walker's teammate, Alan Malcolm, who had won his heat race earlier tonight. Gannon Bird slowly creeping into the picture here. Now Jordan Walker has a little bit of competition to deal with here. It's not something he normally has to contest in a race. That's where these short tracks are always fascinating, because lap traffic can often be the great equalizer in a long green flag run. Seems that now that we got kind of the early race shenanigans out of the way, getting some good green flag run laps going. As we're 42 laps into this. This is probably one of the few short track races I've actually been excited and have had fun commentating on. A lot of the short tracks in NR2003 suffer with the AI, the ability of the AI, and even the worst part is the fact that the Better Cautions mod for double file restarts, wave arounds, all that jazz usually causes these short tracks to crash. So with our short track package, we obviously got to go back to the 2003 rule set when it was single file restarts and your lap traffic gets to restart on the inside up front by the leaders. And I think it's pretty proper package, honestly. We do get to kind of miss out on, you know, the double file restart action and stuff, but the real action on these short tracks come on a long green flag run just like this. When you see lap traffic holding up the leader, you do see a lead swap just like this, where the 10 of Jordan Walker is now getting by his teammate of Alan Malcolm. It also gives someone else a chance, like the 59 of Gannon Bird, who has not seen victory lane yet in the USA Trucks. He's got a very solid opportunity here to be the David versus the Goliath, which is Trevor Ventures. They have won just about every race in the trucks this season. So how big of a statement would that be if Gannon Bird could upset the apple cart for Trevor Ventures and the juggernaut that they have established at the front of the field? He's going to have to get by the lap traffic here, but he's doing pretty good so far getting through lap traffic. Leaders have the same disadvantage just in front of him, as Jordan Walker struggling just as much as Alan Malcolm struggling a little bit through the lap traffic. 19 of Guido Piano continuing to hold on to the lead lap, sitting right there in 19th, number 19 truck. Got wound up in that wreck not of his doing with the 44 of Ryan Little, rejoining the track, collecting him and Chaz Chadwick. Ralph Oberstadt up to 13th. Skylar Taylor sitting in 12th. James Reddick in 11th. David Bird in 10th. Andrew Moger 9th. Bradley Ream 8th. Jeffrey Gerald in 7th. Chaz Chadwick in 6th. Then you've got Jack Ross sitting in 5th right now, having a fight with James Gunner for 4th. Gannon Bird in 3rd. This could be an interesting one here if he can get by some of the bigger names in front of him there. Since those first 2 cautions, this has been a long green flag run. These laps clipping away pretty quickly now. We'll have to maybe watch this line and see what Gannon Bird's doing differently to try and catch the leaders. As we've got our handy dandy drone cam to race alongside the truck here. 78 holding up the 59 right now. 59 needs to find an opening. I think there's an opening there if he wants to take it. But instead continues to follow behind the 78, possibly getting a little bit of draft help there. I know you don't really get much drafting at a short track, but it's kind of giving him a proper line to follow. If he gets by the 78 of Brinker, that's going to put him within the same glorified air as the leaders. There we have the pass on the lap traffic. Gannon Bird can smell the front of the field. Cannon Gage about to go a lap down. I believe Cannon Gage sits in 20th. Jordan Walker, Alan Malcolm may have kind of used up their stuff. This is getting past that 50 lap range that we saw the heat races, so your tires are really starting to fall apart here. This track really, the tire degradation, this is going to be a very nitty-gritty race all the way to the finish. 14.7 for Gannon Bird compared to a 14.7 and a 14.7 for our 2 leaders. What Gannon Bird's going to want to see is those 2 get side by side. That should allow him to really close the gap. Jack Ross, I think, making a move here. No, he's getting past lap traffic. That's what he's doing. He's losing ground to James Gunner, actually, so Jack Ross holding on to the top 5 for now. James Gunner in 4th. Gannon Bird and our 2 leaders. Man, look at Gannon Bird really catching up now. That 59 truck might just be a little bit stronger than our 2 leaders, which would be extremely amazing. '59 right there. It's now going to be figuring out how to make the passes and execute on getting by the leaders. Lap traffic is just going to continue to be a hassle here for these guys. Cannon Gauge giving Gannonbird some help there, keeping the tin truck honest. Gannonbird right there on the back bumper of Alan Malcolm. Some good old-fashioned short track racing here. It might just be what the doctor prescribed for the 59 team. He's right there, dicing and slicing with the 9. There's another opportunity here. The door opens. And Alan Malcolm not able to close that door this time, as 59 still up alongside of him. Malcolm trying to sneak back by and closes the door this time on Gannonbird. They lost a little bit of traction to Jordan Walker with that side-by-side battle there. Jordan Walker making a move on the 5. He's up alongside Cannon Gauge, put him a lap down. They could potentially get 3 wide with lap traffic, which could be detrimental to our lead trio here, as we're now on lap 82 of 200. Wow. They try to make that move going through turns 1 and 2, but have to peter out on the backside of the track there. All Gannonbird knows at this point is it's looking pretty good for the 59 team. The stoutest competition he's ever had to fight for a win here, the 9 and the 10, have been your dominant duo here in the west, or the east side of things. West side's obviously been the Trevor show with Trevor Vaden and Trevor Walker. So Trevor Ventures really does have the dial set to kill on trying to win the truck championship this year. They got the deck stacked in their favor between the Walker Bros. Trevor Vaden and Alan Malcolm has been a very, very talented pickup to fill in that number 9 seat. At this point in the race, it's really looking like a 3-truck fight for the win, as our 3 leaders are trying to put 18th place a lap down. Our roughly midway report here, we've only had 4 retirements. The 56, Andre Stefan, the 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson, 76 of Hamburgerson, the 11 of Mark Shelton. The 92 of Kyle Ottawa got DQ'd. I can only imagine for contact that he had caused for that last caution that we had, where he got bunched up and basically forced Wyatt Wilkinson to retire after stalling on track. So a disqualification there for the 92. That leaves us with 27 trucks still running here. And even so, 18 trucks on the lead lap. Guido Piano goes lap down. Jakov Rosevich now on the bubble of going 1 lap down. The rest of the field pretty much stays about where they've been running. James Gunner in 4th, Jack Ross in 5th. Chaz Chadwick and his teammate running 6th and 7th, as Jeffrey Gerald sits 7th. Andrew Moger 8th, Bradley Ream 9th, and David Bird 10th. Skylar Taylor, James Reddick, Ant Me Person, Scott Speed, and Ralph Oberstadt rounds out your top 15. Cannon Gage comes down pit road, it looks like, and he's going to rejoin the track here. So going from 19th, about a lap down, to 2 laps down and 26th. Ooh, there we go. Another swap for the lead as Alan Malcolm is alongside Jordan Walker. These two teammates are going to duke it out all night. And Gannon Bird, a very stout contender here on the short track. That 59, this might be his strong point, and one of maybe very few opportunities for that 59 to win a race. We still go with the win and you're in scenario for these guys. The chase at the end of the year combined between the East and the West. If you win on the East side, you'll be one of the 10 transfers to the combined chase at the end of the year. Same goes for the West side. If we have 10 different winners, all 10 of them will transfer on to the combined chase at the end of the season. There is 15 races between the East and 15 on the West, so there could be 15 different winners. And we would cross that bridge when it comes, but it would still come to the 10 highest in points with a win. And then you'll have an overall champion at the end of the year, decided upon by hashing it out between the East and the West, the best from both divisions. Like it was last year, it was 10 from the East, 10 from the West that were eligible for the championship. Then we still filled out the field. So everyone else in the top 20, so from 11th on back to 20th, were locked into each main event race, giving them an opportunity to still rack up wins. So that gave us a full field of 40. Once you get the top 20 involved, only the top 10 were eligible for a championship, though, of course. And so once you did that, there would be an LCQ with the rest of the drivers eligible to try and make the main event. Wow, it's getting stacked here. Our leaders struggling through the lap traffic. Gannon Bird gets by Alan Malcolm for now as they're 3 wide with Ralph Oberstadt. Gannon Bird holding strong on the inside there. He's got the preferred line. Looks like he's going to secure second for a brief moment there. They're putting Al Bunch a lap down. They're up into the top 15 at this point. And our leaders have been doing a masterful job staying out of trouble. Gannon Bird gets into the grass there, 3 wide right in front of the leader. Jordan Walker needs to be careful here not to push the envelope, but at the same time continue to push just a little bit harder so that he doesn't get swallowed up by the 59. Non-stop racing action here, and we are down to 90 laps to go. Like I mentioned, I don't think we're going to see any pit stops. This is pretty much going to be all the way to the finish without any pit strategy. We did have those couple cautions that kind of shook things up. Oh no, pit stops for the 59 particularly here. Man, I might be mistaken. And 200 laps on a short track like this, I figured they'd go about 200 laps. 59 pitting now might be a sign of what's to come for everyone. Gannonburg. Okay, everyone's coming down pit road. There's the 10. Now we just got to hope that there's no caution. All these trucks leaving pit road, it could get hairy. What the okay, yeah, that's the pit stall for the 10 since he's qualified at the front. So 59, Gannon Bird pitted an extra lap early. This could give him a chance to get by the 10 on track here, and it does. What an impressive turn of events here as the 59 secures what could be the provisional lead here from the 10 of Jordan Walker. They're going to take a couple laps for things to get sorted here as everyone still has to make a pit stop in front of them. Man, I can't believe we're actually going to have green flag pit stops here at Kil-Kare Speedway. Whoa, 3 wide right there in front of these two. That's going to be hairy. Whoa, Guido Piano rejoins the track, dive bombing into the 10 of Jordan Walker. Jordan did not like that as he's kind of putting his nose in there to, wow, the 19 of Guido Piano holds up our leaders there. Holy cow, that was some bad racing going on there. 10 of Jordan Walker definitely has a reason to be PO'd here. Look at him blow by the 29 of Eli. We might have some beef on track here in a moment. If that 10 catches up to the 19, Guido Piano better be careful. Because I think Guido Piano could potentially get some payback from the 10 of Jordan Walker there. There's the 10s on the inside of Al Bunch, his teammate. Wow, this is just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. It's a roadblock on the back stretch there. Caution. Wow. Roadblock again. So some interesting glitches that I've never seen play out here in NR2003. But I think everything kind of shuffled around to our lead group. Only 5 trucks on the lead lap. Our leaders include the 32 of James Gunner, the 9 of Alan Malcolm, the 59 of Gannon Bird, the 10 of Jordan Walker, and the 18 of Chaz Chadwick. So as we wave them around, this will get them back on the tail end of the lead lap since they were trapped basically a lap down. Oh, the 87 of Al Bunch retired. So we had our share of short track crazies here as we're down to the last 80 laps in this one. Well, we're back in racing here at Kil-Kare Speedway. And the leader is none other than James Gunner right now, who lucked out from keeping that lead. Oh, and they are totally wrecking on the front stretch. Oh boy. I saw the 3 truck get way toppled up there. Tough day for Ralph Oberstadt. I think that's going to mark an end of the day for him. His truck went up in the air. 3 wide yet again. Ooh, boy, that is not normally the way those trucks should react on a short track. Ralph Oberstadt will be filling that one in the morning. Let's watching the in-car cam on that one. Hoofty. Yeah, that's not how you want to end your day. Okay, so we'll have 10 trucks back on the lead lap here once everything gets sorted. Our leader is still James Gunner right now, followed by Jordan Walker, Chaz Chadwick, and Alan Malcolm. All of our lap traffic should drop to the bottom here as the lights go out on the pace truck. That's gonna spell disaster for a lot of these leaders because it's gonna be side-by-side racing throughout the whole field here. I guess this is the game's way of giving the wave round drivers an accurate restart here, that they have to drop to the back and roll fast from the back there. Gives them a fighting chance to stay on the lead lap, as we've got so many trucks knocked out of this one now. Jamie Horseman, Finley Herwig, Guido Piano, Ralph Oberstadt, Bradley Ream, Al Bunch, Nate Newman, all out of this race, leaving us with roughly about 20 trucks. Oh! I don't know if that's going to bring out a caution because of the way the trucks maintained forward trajectory there. The 62 of James Reddick just got creamed by the 44 of Ryan Little. So that puts an end of the day for another couple trucks there. And another caution, of course. Go figure. So we had such a great green flag run going, and now it looks like we're going to get hit with that caution breed caution mentality. We'll see what exactly finalized bringing out the caution. Imagine it had something to do. Oh wow, holy cow. That one we missed. The 5 of Cannon Gage goes for a wild ride. Cannon Gage from 5th here, fighting with the 00 of Jack Ross. gives Jack Ross the business, and Jack Ross is like, see ya, get the hell out of here. And so Cannon Gage drives through the crowd, comes back out onto the track here, and I think manages to stay on the lead lap. Rejoins, loses a lap actually. But the 12 of Scott Speed has a mechanical failure, forcing him to stall on track there. Holy cow, man, what the... At this point, the leader was James Gunner, just right there. I think Cannon Gage might have actually came back out gaining spots. No way. He was running 6th, loses a bunch of spots there, but stays on the lead lap. Comes back around to 9th. Back to green again. James Gunner doing what James Gunner needs to do. Could potentially become a short track superstar, as his first win actually came at North Wilkesboro. Jordan Walker in 2nd. Chaz Chadwick up to 3rd. Jack Ross, the hometown hero, gritting it out here with a top 5 run. Gannon Bird trying to work his way back to the front where he once was. Still running 5th, a solid day for that 59. 6th, Ant Me Person. No, it's more people coming down pit road. The field has been totally deteriorating here in the second half of the race. This chaos is undeniable. Ant Me Person with a DQ, he drops out of the race now. Man, we had multiple disqualifications. They disqualified Cannon Gage for going off track. That one didn't surprise me all that much. After he left the track and rejoined that way, they handed out a DQ for him. Alan Malcolm disqualified. So I need to make odds and ends of some of these disqualifications as to why, perhaps why did the 9 get disqualified? Still not seeing exactly where he got DQ'd there, but something they deemed illegal. 29 of Eli the Wolf got DQ'd. Wow, a full slew of them. Andrew Moger with a DQ. I wish the game would actually explain disqualifications. It's one of those few things the game does not have a very fluid thing of explaining. I can only imagine for avoidable contact, perhaps, on some of these drivers. You can see some of the damage that they have. An illegal pass, maybe. See what happens here. They get bunched up. Was that on a restart? I'm wondering if it was an illegal pass on a restart there. Interesting. Well, whatever it is, the game is not afraid to hand out those penalties as we only have 13 trucks left running here. James Gunner leads the way and has been really stretching that lead out. Still 45 laps to go. The race far from over. Jordan Walker in second, Gannon Bird in third, Jack Ross in fourth, Chaz Chadwick in fifth. Then everyone else 2 laps down or worse, as you've got Jeffrey Gerald in sixth, John Brinker in seventh, Zach Armstrong in eighth, David Bird in ninth, Skylar Taylor in 10th, 11th GP Luxembourg, Ryan Little and Scott Speed. Jack Ross in fifth. He's going to have to get by some heavy hitters here in the likes of Jack Ross, Gannon Bird, and Jordan Walker. Must say, James Gunner definitely a bit of a surprise here tonight that he shuffled around to the front of the field like he did. 10.8 second lead now over Jordan Walker. He's pretty much run the entire distance of the field and has caught up to the back end of these lead lap drivers. Gannon Bird and Jordan Walker are having some trouble getting by the lap traffic in front of them. With all the way the cautions have fell, I don't think any more pit stops are going to be a concern here, as it's just going to come down to who's going to have the faster truck in the closing laps. James Gunner still stretching that lead out, 10.6 seconds over Jordan Walker. "34 laps remain. This could very well become a little harder for anyone else to really close that window. Jack Ross is going to have to be very careful here, minding his position. He could go a lap down in a couple laps time if he's not careful. James Gunner getting by the 44 of Ryan Little. This is only going to put another truck multiple laps down here. That was still crazy that Cannon Gage went through the grandstands to rejoin the track. And a whole slew of disqualifications on multiple trucks here tonight. They obviously picked a scab that they should have left untouched. Jordan Walker closing that gap ever so slightly, but he's going to have to close it quicker than that if he's want a chance to fight for the win tonight. He's going to have to get by these 2 lap trucks in front of him to really drive home the message. He's only 9.9 seconds back from James Gunner. The more he struggles to get around this lap traffic, the less likely he is to close that gap. Now the gap's starting to grow a little bit as it's now 9.98 seconds. Probably going to be about 10 seconds the gap here on the line. 10.04. So from leading pretty much the entire first half of the race, Jordan Walker might get snookered here tonight. 23 laps remain, 22 now to go. James Gunner could still have a mechanical failure from the lead. You never know until these races are over. But he can breathe a little bit easier knowing there's only 21 laps left in the race here tonight. And he could become the inaugural Kil-Kare Speedway race winner in just 20 laps time if he can hold on to it here. Definitely a come from behind performance from that 32 truck. No one saw this coming. Does have a little bit to do with his team though. The 59 of Gannon Bird had a great run going tonight. That's another TSI Dodge that's basically running in the top 5 with him. So TSI with a first, and for now currently a third. A 1-3 finish for the team. Huge for them, as they usually struggle to get top 5s or top 10s, let alone a win in a top 3. Oh, that gap shrunk a little bit more this time. James Gunner really, I think, used his stuff up. Down to a 14.9. Jordan Walker running 14.8. Yeah, so this, I mean, it's really hard to tell since the race is really close to over at this point. 15 laps remain. Is there going to be enough there to actually do something with it? Still going to have to get by a whole bunch of lap trucks to catch up to the leader. James Gunner with a 14.9. Jordan Walker with a 14.7, 14.9 that time. So slowed her down a little bit for the 10 truck. .15 seconds is the gap from the first to second place. .15112. GP Luxembourg is giving the race a little glimpse of life here for the rest of the field. 11 laps though, I mean, this is gonna have to take a huge mistake from James Gunner to totally blow away that 8-second deficit. Eight laps remaining here, and it's really only a matter of time before this one's over. No double file restarts, no green-white checkers here tonight. It's going to be wherever that final flag falls. If we get a caution, this race could be over on lap 198. Especially with the rule package to where the lap traffic after with 10 laps, under 10 laps to go. All those lap trucks will stay in relative position between the leaders, making it that much harder for passes to happen. 5 laps now as James Gunner is alongside GP Luxembourg and clips the grass there. Zach Armstrong could make this a little bit interesting. 4 laps remaining. James Gunner better hope that Zach Armstrong doesn't try to get in the way of the win here tonight. We did see a 2-truck spin out from trucks getting side by side. That could happen. James Gunner desperately hoping it does not. 84, still putting up a tough fight to make the pass, putting him a lap down here. James Gunner holding on to an 8-second lead at this point. 2 laps remaining here at Kil-Kare Speedway. And it's James Gunner's race to lose at this point. That truck looks clean. He's avoided any of the carnage and chaos that's been hitting us left and right here tonight. White flag waving. The race is official at this point. Now he's just got a victory lap round the front stretch. It's James Gunner here at Kil-Kare Speedway getting his 2nd career win in about 3 races. Great run for James Gunner. Coming home 2nd was Jordan Walker. 3rd place, Chaz Chadwick. 4th place, Gannon Bird. And a top 5 for Jack Ross at his home track, which is stellar, especially with the way this race was playing out with all the craziness. 13 trucks left running at the end of it. A lot of retirements, a lot of disqualifications, and some pretty gnarly accidents for a short track race. 5 trucks finished on the lead lap. That's a pretty small field to finish on the lead lap anywhere you go. But that tonight is a wrap for this USA Trucks Eastern Division battle on the short track at Kil-Kare. Race 4 of 15. Right at the 1 hour mark roughly for the race completion here. And James Gunner starting to put himself as a perennial contender for the championship here. Gets his 2nd short track win in 3 races. So right now in his career, he's basically batting 500. 2 wins in 4 races. That's a great start to your career. And congratulations to everyone else that even finished the race. David Bird with a top 10, Skylar Taylor, John Brinker, Zach Armstrong, Jeffrey Gerald securing a top 10 finish here today. And thanks for everyone tuning in to tonight's stream. We do have the ARCA series tomorrow, and we'll have that on tap about the same time as this truck race started tonight with ARCA tomorrow night. So hopefully y'all have a good night. Thanks for staying up this late. I know it's late on the East Coast. Great race in action, a lot of chaos, a lot of short track bumping and banging and carnage all throughout the night. Kil-Kare Speedway could probably use just a hair down on the aggression, but still some great racing. And congrats yet again to James Gunner getting that second win. So this is the end of the stream. So this is Jakester signing out. Hope